Hello, I'm Patrick Magee, sports writer for the Sun Herald.
I'm Patrick Ochs, sports writer of the Sun Herald. This is Sports Guys Week 9.
We're talking about Friday night's big games. I'll be talking about Pascagoula, Hattiesburg, and St. Martin, Biloxi.
And I'll talk about Harrison Central, Gulfport. And then our game of the week, I'll start off with that, is East Central hosting St. Stanislaus. Not sure these teams could be any more different. you have a team, as I pointed out in tomorrow's paper, that has averages 23 completions a game. Then you have another team that's only attempted 23 passes all season. I mean, they couldn't be any more different. Talking to the two coaches, obviously they have a feeling what the other one wants to do. Stanislaus, has a pretty good feeling that with a run-heavy team like East Central, they're going to try and slow the game down. They want to drag it out as much as they can. Where St. Stanislaus, they want to get on the ball, they want to get downfield, and they're not necessarily heaving the ball 60 yards every play. But the way they move and how fast they operate, they want to keep the defense on its heels the whole time. I think it's going to be a pretty fun game as a spectator. I'm looking forward to going out to Hurley. A.J. Davis is key for East Central if they're going to have any success. They got to keep handing him the ball. He's not a guy that breaks a lot of big runs. I think his longest run this year is maybe 25 yards, but he averages 6 yards a carry. I think Stanislaus wins, and they'll be in the driver's seat then from 4A in the division. I give them maybe a 14-point win. Then you got a big rivalry game, Harrison Central, Gulfport. Gulfport's played about as well as anybody on the coast, really, all season. They've been consistent. They have Deon Cole, Alton Connolly, who is a guy I think could contend for Player of the Year honors. He does a little bit of everything, returns kicks, plays defense, is a big play receiver for him. The game I saw at George County, he returned a 99-yard kick return for a touchdown, so he does a little bit of everything. Then you have Harrison Central, who they've kind of been up and down first year under Casey Kane. Start off with the 3-game losing streak, got back into things in division. Last week kind of took a setback at St. Martin. Kane said they just gave up too many plays. That'll be key against Gulfport this week, limiting the big plays. You have to make sure you know where Alton Connolly is all the time, and you're not going to be able to let Deon Cole rip off a big run. That being said, I think Gulfport might be a little too much for a big, talented Harrison Central team. I think Gulfport wins maybe by 17.
Yeah. The Pascagoula-Hattiesburg game, I think, before the season started, a lot of people circled that game as maybe the game that decides the region there in 4-5A. I don't think that's necessarily the case now. These are two still really good teams, but you look at PRC and Picayune have played really well, and Picayune going to Hattiesburg last week and win and really kind of made a statement that they're back after some early season struggles. Pascagoula's probably been hit by the injury bug as much as anyone on the coast with two really key players, Jaquez Walker and Javaris Walker. Taking them out of the offense has really kind of changed things, a little bit less diverse. But I think for Pascagoula to beat Hattiesburg, they're going to have to do what Picayune did last week, is keep it on the ground. And they can do that with Reginald Hunter. I mean, you can't give it to them 40-something times like teams like Picayune and East Central like to do. But I see Reginald Hunter getting the ball a lot, and Granlund Torgerson can pass the ball a little bit. And Pascagoula still got a decent little receiving course, so they can still mix up a little bit. So I see Pascagoula's defense stepping up here. They've been good all season. They haven't had their best performance yet. I think that's maybe what comes Friday night. I think Hattiesburg still trying to find their way. Julian Connor struggled passing the ball a little bit last week for the Tigers. So I see Pascagoula eking one out against Hattiesburg. And Biloxi St. Martin, Biloxi hit a rough patch in the season right now, still trying to kind of find their way under first-year coach Bobby Hall. They failed to score a point last week against Ocean Springs. I expect them to bounce back and play a little bit better this week. I know Hall really challenged those guys, and I think they'll respond. But St. Martin, speaking of challenge, they lose to Gulfport, and you're wondering how do they respond after that, and they've really played well the last couple of weeks. So I see St. Martin winning by 2 or 3 touchdowns over Biloxi. Biloxi will make it interesting, just rivalry game, just like any other game on the coast. So I see St. Martin winning by 2 or 3 touchdowns Friday night. We appreciate you watching this week, and we'll see you at the games Friday night.